Hello SLR Lounge. Today we're going to be talking about the best adapters you can use for Sony cameras. And we are going to start with the first-party Sony adapters. Now Sony makes two adapters to mount their E-Mount DSLR lenses onto their E-Mount mirrorless cameras. Now I can only recommend one of these because one of them doesn't have a lot of support for third-party E-Mount lenses or older Minolta lenses. The adapter I would recommend is the one with translucent mirror technology. The reason is because within the adapter itself is its own built-in AF motor and autofocus points. My only gripe with that adapter is that the autofocus points are very small, so it can be very hard to get an exact focus on your subject if you're only using single AF. Now let's compare Canon to Sony adapters. Now right here on the table, I have two adapters on the opposite sides of the price spectrum. Right here I have the PhotoDiox Pro, which is about a $75 adapter, and then I have the MetaBones 4, which is a $400 adapter. A lot of people might argue that the MetaBones 4 has less light leak because inside it's coated with velvet to absorb light so it doesn't hit the sensor, whereas the PhotoDiox just looks like it has plastic inside. But I did a light leak test. So what I did was I set up 3 powerful Lowell constant lights and I put them around the joints of where the adapters connect. And then I took a 30-second exposure with the camera that I was connected to. Now take a look at these light leak patterns. Surprisingly, they are identical. So between the two, I would recommend the PhotoDiox just because it's an incredible value. Okay, now let's go old school. Let's say you want to mount an old rangefinder film lens onto your Sony camera. Well, there are a ton of these M-mount to Sony adapters and they're purely mechanical, meaning most rangefinder lenses like the Leica Zeiss or Voigtlander, they have aperture control and focus control on the lens, so you really only need an adapter to adjust the flange distance from the lens to your camera. Because they're purely mechanical, I would just recommend getting the cheapest adapter that has good reviews. I use the PhotoDiox and it has done very well. Another really interesting adapter is this adapter from TechArt, which has a motor that adjusts the flange distance so you can have autofocus on your manual focus M-mount lenses. So let's talk about some specialty adapters. Now, over here, we have the MetaBones Speed Booster, and what it does is it takes a full-frame Canon lens, then magnifies that light onto a cropped sensor camera. So you're supposed to get an extra stop of light when using this adapter versus using the MetaBones 4. So that's a pretty cool adapter to keep in your toolkit, especially if you are in low light situations. But it is the most expensive adapter on this table at $650. Now the last adapter we have on the table is actually one of the most interesting too. This is the DEC by Aputure, and what it does is it not only mounts your Canon lens to your Sony camera, but it also gives you remote aperture control and focus control. Now you may think an adapter with these kind of features is very expensive, but it's actually cheaper than the MetaBones 4. So that means it's very useful on productions where your camera operator and your focus puller can't be together. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, please let us know in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos like these, please subscribe to our channel.